I find this story that is constantly evolving to take just the most insane turns that are out there. Ezra Miller and his entire situation is totally and completely incomprehensible, if we're being completely honest about this. The fact that he is just an open, proud, and seemingly easily accessible groomer right now, okay, he's got a couple of restraining orders against him, but the police can't serve him, even though they know exactly where he's at. A little bit strange, okay? And then the fact that Rolling Stone, okay, the exact same publication who has pushed many a hoax like Duke Lacrosse, okay, and then what they wrote about Johnny Depp, all their different smear campaigns, the fact that they're now turning against Ezra Miller, who would be a darling of them on any other day, but, and then also throwing weed under the bus. I don't know what's going on here. It's almost like they're having a come to Jesus moment. Unfortunately, it's couched in such a demonic situation. It's really tough to make heads or tails of this. The only thing that I know for certain is Ezra Miller should be hung on the wall with other maps that are out there. All right, so let's get into what they've put out here because, okay, we know of at least 2 girls that he has been grooming. Apparently there's more, and their parents are there as well, and he's just kind of running some sort of a cult. Ah, boy. Guns, bullets, and weed. All right. Well, if you have all of them together, I don't really know what you're going to be doing. Okay, guns and bullets together, they really accomplish some stuff. But if you're all baked out, I don't really think you're going to be out there doing anything too terribly adventurous. But Ezra Miller housing 3 young children and their mother at Vermont farm. Great, wonderful. And I'm sure probably Takata Iron Eyes is there as well, but at least we know of 3 children and their mother. I wonder if they're all also, because he has a type out there, okay? We can at least infer that he's, yes, once again going after a single mother, at least somebody who has a not exactly the strongest nuclear family if we're taking a look at this, but I'd imagine he's probably also preying on some kids that are probably confused about their gender identity because he seems to be very persuasive with the mentally deficient gender fluid types that are out there. Versus claim the living conditions that the Flash stars. Oh no, he's not going to be Flash anymore, but Warner Brothers, which is the dumbest company on earth, just has this completed. It's totally completed alongside Aquaman 2. That film is completely done. They just don't know what exactly to do with it. But that Flash movie, I'm not entirely sure what the name of it is, but yeah, no, it's done. It's completed. Okay. It's the return of Michael Keaton as Batman. Okay. So they want to get it out there. Okay. It would be a great summer film because it's kind of just devoid of, actual hits. But it's central on Ezra Miller's Flash. So what is Warner Brothers going to do with it? It's just kind of got an indeterminate release date. So yeah, I'd imagine, okay, you got to just take the L on this one. But I don't know, maybe they're just hoping that the situation's going to blow over. Not if Rolling Stone has decided to change their tune on this, okay? You better fucking put that one file that one in the bottom of the filing cabinet and, I don't know, release it in 50 years is just hey, take a look at what we found over here back when, Zack Snyder had hiring power at Warner Brothers. Boy, that was a dark time, but, we've reformed since then. All of Zack Snyder's all of his films age like milk. Okay, I liked 300 at the time, and then 2010s came around. But anyways, yes, the living conditions at the farm are unsafe for children, alleging there are weapons lying around and that a 1-year-old put a loose bullet in their mouth. Okay, that is horrific. Okay, the fact is, okay, the people who would normally be supporting and propping up the messages of Ezra Miller are also very much against the Second Amendment, and they point to things like this because that's what they think of general gun owners. Okay, they think that they're all loosey-goosey with their wares. They just keep their big scary black rifles just right next to the crib. Okay, they leave their ammunition just around. No, these are irresponsible, certifiable lunatics. Okay, who give the rest of gun owners a bad name. These are the people who just, they don't see an individual, they see an amalgamation of different collectives that they can just judge, okay? Ezra Miller, non-binary, I think he's Jewish or something like that, depends on depends on whatever they go with, okay? And they just see a whole bunch of different lists on a checklist. You know what I see? A fucking groomer who should be dealt with accordingly. Strangely enough, also what that 1-year-old was doing with a bullet, just, little bit of an assistance with one of the first words that are right up there on that headline. Anyways, Ezra Miller has been hosting a 25-year-old mother, a 25-year-old mother of 3. I don't think those were triplets, okay? But again, where are the fathers? Because, let's be honest, at his Vermont farm, a living arrangement that worries the children's father. Yep, there he is. He's worried about the health of his kids, and I'm actually surprised. Oh, the children's father. I'm actually surprised that it's the one father. And again, this is what happens because the courts always give deference to the mother, okay? If she is, as long as she's not Andrea Yates, she's basically gonna get fucking full-time, or at least preferential time with the children, okay? And while it doesn't always lead to such crazy situations as this, you have a father who has to reach out to Rolling Stone because more than likely the courts aren't going to do anything about him, okay? His kids are living on a hippie commune, okay, in terrible living conditions with a man, a non-binary weirdo, who has 2 active restraining orders against him. And the only reprise he can get is from a fucking rag like Rolling Stone, not the Rolling Stone, because I'm not 90 years old. It's it would be amazing if it wasn't so sad. Anyways, 2 sources with knowledge of the situation expressed concern to Rolling Stone that it is an unsafe environment for children, alleging there are unattended guns strewn around the home on Miller's 96-acre property. Great, wonderful, fantastic. This is somebody who should have whatever rights, okay? Should have all the rights in the world to have all of those firearms, okay? Until, of course, it comes a time that they do something wrong, and this is Vermont, by the way, and I'm not entirely sure when it comes to this stuff, but I think that those 2 restraining orders, given some certain states, normally you get served with those, and then your firearms get taken away temporarily, or depending on how all of the subsequent charges line up, maybe permanently. So just goes to show you that there's a justice system out there right now, but it's just it's a little bit different for famous and people in the alphabet mafia, because let's address the fucking elephant in the room right now. If this was a straight white man and not a odd individual, he'd already be in a fucking jail cell. You goddamn well better believe it. One source, who, like the other, requested anonymity for fear of retribution, yes, because I'd imagine Miller has a posse, recalled an instance where one of the children, a 1-year-old, allegedly picked up a loose bullet and put it in her mouth. Interesting. I wonder if the 2 sources are the other 2 children that are in the home. I'm just wondering, okay? But the mother, who, like the father, Rolling Stone is not naming, claims that Miller had helped her escape from a violent and abusive ex. I'm sure he was, okay? So, again, you escape a violent and abusive ex, which is just always the play in order to get the kids anyways, okay? You make up these allegations, and then the father has to prove that he wasn't beating the mother. Yeah, and exactly. Whenever a woman starts crying in a courtroom or crying to police officers, their IQ drops 50 fucking points at least. So yeah, she's running from one abuser to another. The cycle continues anew. And Miller helped me finally have a safe environment for my 3 very young children. Yes, so they could chew bullets in peace. It's almost I hate everybody, including the father in this situation, for fucking and dumping loads in this fucking hunk of shit. Anyways, Ezra's ranch home has been a healing haven for us. Oh, really? Really? She tells Rolling Stone. They have firearms for self-defense purposes, and they are stored in part of the house that the children never go in. It doesn't seem like all of the stories are lining up here. My kids are able to relax more to their healing because of the safety and nurturing Ezra has provided for them. this is legitimate abuse that's going on right now, and why can't he get served with these restraining? I don't know. They're talking to people that live on this fucking commune, okay, that eventually is going to turn into some Jonestown situation if the left if This is ridiculous. Mother and children, aged 1 to 5, have been living at Miller's Stamford, Vermont farm since mid-April. Great, when all of this fucking whack shit came to a head. The actor met the woman in Hilo, Hawaii. Oh, and he was getting arrested a couple of different times. Sweet. Which Miller had been visiting in March. The embattled actor, who is set to star in the Warner Brothers anticipated The Flash, racked up a string of arrests while in Hawaii. And I guess his bad non-binary persona really preceded him and just made him all the more alluring. Women are fucking retarded. In the midst of the unfolding crisis, the children's father claims to Rolling Stone that Miller secured a flight out of Hawaii, got flued out, and the women and her children, allegedly without the father's knowledge. Yeah, but he's an abusive. He beat everybody and the kids as well, and he still is. I'm sure. Again, believe all women, right? And that narrative's never gonna fucking die. I got a bad feeling in my stomach. Yeah, no shit. Do you know the criminal history of Ezra Miller? I would too, okay? He claims he has not been able to see or speak with his children since their departure. Yeah, no, exactly. But it's a safe house where they just keep all of the firearms just locked away. Very believable story, considering this is the same guy who just likes to brandish and then just whip out his firearm at any given moment. Hey, we're going to take a picture? Sweet. I'm just going to go ahead and do one of these. Fucking Christ. I do want to get my kids. They mean the fucking world to me. Oh my God, you didn't bleep that in the language. The mother and father have been at odds for some time, according to Hawaii court records. The mother pursued one domestic abuse case and one paternity case against the father in May of 2021. She sounds like a real fucking keeper. He has denied all abuse allegations, and a domestic case was terminated when neither of the parents appeared in court. Okay, she felt so strongly about it that she used it to file it in order to get custody over her kids. But then when it came to the follow-up, I already accomplished my means and my goals, so yeah, I'm just not going to turn up for that. Files in the paternity case show the judge put it on hold last October because the father hadn't been served. Again, these are just spurious charges based on baseless accusations, and again, it accomplishes the goals of the mother. She's just allowed to run roughshod. All you can do is just stand to the side. You got those kids out of an abusive home, and where did you take them? Oh, to a nice farm for them to be safe. Oh, you're a fleeing, battered woman, and you got to stay on a farm. Yes, Ezra Miller put it. Sorry, what? The same Ezra Miller. Okay, cool. The mother says she is still living at Miller's farm with her children. The two sources who confirmed seeing children there with their mother describe it as a chaotic environment that is unsafe for children. Yeah, but she's taken away by his high cheekbones and constant methed out persona. Video footage from April reviewed by Rolling Stone appears to show at least 8 assault weapons, whatever that means, rifles, that's different than an assault weapon, alright, and handguns lying around the living room. Cool. I guess the kids just don't go in the living room. That's the safe area where they keep all of their self-defense weapons, right? Again, I don't want to, say anything bad about the weapons themselves, but Ezra Miller's a dangerous fucking person who's been arrested multiple times for causing a ruckus, throwing a chair, hitting a woman, choke slamming a woman in Iceland. But then still, you gotta respect his pronouns because he filed a complaint against Hawaii police officers who were being so bigoted. The same Hawaii that votes like 80% Democrat. Okay, cool. Again. Video footage from April also shows some of the weapons propped up next to a pile of stuffed animals. Yes, so exactly. None of the kids. Nope. Kids wouldn't have any access to any of those firearms. While the children were living there with their very cautious mother. Again, I just hate Ezra Miller for a multitude of reasons, including shacking up with a 25-year-old single mother of 3 kids. What the fuck is wrong with you? But that's the least of my concerns when it comes to this stuff. This dude should just be dealt with. You can connect the dots. 2 sources also allege that there's been frequent and heavy marijuana use in front of the children. Oh my God. But in fact that it's in front of the children, that's pretty bad. Okay, my position when it comes to drugs, if I was in control of the world, all of them would just get snapped out of existence. But again, theoretically, these are adults, okay? And if they want to smoke pot, do it themselves. But right in front of the kids in the same room as the children, okay. That's abuse. That's abuse. But, okay. With a little concern about proper ventilation. No, you gotta expose all of this shit to the kids early. I guess that's just the groomer tendencies also go to narcotics as well. Rolling Stone has also learned that there is a sizable cannabis farm on Miller's property, with Miller's close friend and purported handyman, Whitney Suiters. Is that a woman? Claiming on social media that the two are running a cannabis company called Rebel Alliance Cannabis. Again, there's nothing wrong with that, and I'm not 100% sure about the drug laws in Vermont, so if it's all on the up and up, that's fine. Okay, people who own and operate drug farms can have families. But again, there's a lot more underlying problems with this story than somebody simply running a pot farm. Numerous photos posted on Suter's social media page indicate that there are far a greater number of marijuana plants than Vermont's permitted 2 mature plants or 4 immature plants for private citizens can own. Okay, so there's the drug laws. So why would you blast it out there on Front Street that you're running a pot growing operation when you're not allowed to have that? It's interesting. So why is this allowed to continue to go on? You guys have all of this information, but yet Ezra Miller is still at large on his compound. What the fuck is going on? Are they worried that he's going to execute Order 66 and start yeeting everybody who's out there? And who even knows if it's just limited to just that one fucking crazy 25-year-old cunt, and then there are 3 unfortunately being abused children. 5, I'd imagine 3 and 1, like if everything's all spaced out. Miller's farm is not among the state's 25 licensed cultivators, okay, that are allowed to grow more than 6 plants to sell to wholesalers. Rolling Stone confirmed with Vermont's Cannabis Control Board. That's good. I'm actually glad Rolling Stone did some investigation for their piece here. So again, this also raises red flags. Why are they turning on somebody who they would normally be propping up? But I'm glad they are. It looks like one person's doing some good job. Maybe they got to some personal beef on Ezra Miller, which is totally fine, okay? And the father claims that he'd been trying to remove his children from the farm since April. They've been there since April, okay? And that's when all of this drone footage came out as well. And unless everything was taken before everybody arrived, you'd have to imagine the 1 and 2, 3, or 4-year-old were probably playing with the stuffed animals, along with the 5-year-old. Some of the guns leaning on the toys. Oof. After learning of the alleged weapons and drug use at Miller's property in mid-May, he called Vermont's Department for Children and Families, okay, so the local CPS, I suppose, and local police to carry out wellness checks. Again, he's taken. Isn't there also like some? Again, man, the courts are fucking useless, especially family courts. Okay, apparently, according to the father in this situation, the mother took the 3 kids. Okay, completely out of state from Hawaii. Okay, to Vermont without his knowledge, without his consent, without his authorization, and he's helpless behind Vermont DCF. Rolling Stone has reviewed text messages between the father and a number registered to a Vermont social worker. Oh, great, a social worker's involved. We'll get right to the bottom of this case. Who said the texts that they had visited the house on May 16th and the kids looked good, noting the worker had more work to do. Of course. Again, just send in social workers. They're gonna do great fucking jobs. Yeah. Have you ever spoke to a social worker? I wouldn't recommend it. Okay, mostly because they'd probably try to me too you if you're in their general vicinity, or if you've also seen some other social workers as well in their general orbit. It's an overwhelmingly intersectional neo-Marxist postmodern organization. Okay, and the ideology that's backing it is very, very, very much more important than welfare and care of the children. Okay, they're learning about so many important things like vice and pride and lust. Oh, it's very important stuff that they're learning here. It's the latest concerning situation Miller has found himself in. Two sets of parents have reportedly sought protection and restraining orders against Miller. Yeah, in Massachusetts and in North Dakota. I think that's where the Iron Eyes Jumping Eagle, I think that's the mother's last name. I can't quite remember. I think it was in North Dakota. It was in one of the Dakotas. And then the one who was 11 years old at the time, which is seems like a fucking geriatric when you think that there's 1, 3, and 5-year-olds running around his farm. Oh, God, this fucking story, dude. Earlier this month, Chase Iron Eyes and Sarah Jumping Eagle, there it is, filed an order of protection on behalf of their 18-year-old child, Gibson. What? I thought that was Takata, a well-known Standing Rock activist. Again, he goes after the mentally, sounds mean to say this, but the mentally compromised that are out there, okay? The people who express their gender fluidity by using non-binary pronouns, and families that are already fractured because of their activist roots, okay? Or single-parent households. I said at the time there was going to be more victims, and hey, take a look at that. Parents alleged to Rolling Stone that Miller had groomed Gibson, whom the actor had met when Gibson was 12. Okay, cool. So what? He's got a farm, and now he's starting a team, and he's just going to wait? I highly fucking doubt it. Admit Gibson was 12, and earlier this year said Miller supplied Gibson with a high dose of LSD. Is that Takata's new name or something like that? Because I've never heard Gibson before. And the rest of that is just retreading ground that we already went over. The Daily Beast article, during Miller's Hawaii visit, the actor was arrested twice, and at least 10 calls were placed to local police regarding his behavior. The first arrest stemmed from disorderly conduct charge when Miller was set off by a couple of karaoke singing Shallow from A Star Is Born on March 28th. Yeah, but he gets set off like that because he's not well, okay? This is the same motherfucker who spurged out, okay, on the Massachusetts quote-unquote family, okay, by somebody saying that, oh, me and my tribe are doing something. That is cultural appropriation. And then yelling about people that they were playing Parcheesi because it has Rastafarian roots, but then couldn't cite any of his sources, and then brandished his firearm and then started rubbing on the 11-year-old, which should have been... This entire situation could have been avoided if somebody was an adult in that room and dealt with that situation accordingly. You can connect the dots once again on this one, but I don't know how this is ever going to end. It looks like he's just allowed to perpetuate his fucking pedo farm out there in Vermont, and nobody's doing fuck all about it. He's running an illegal pot operation, and nobody gives a fuck about it. He is basically kidnapped 3 children, and the father is helpless because the government won't do fuck all about it. It's an amazing insight into the corruption of many levels of government right now. And you know what it is? At the end of the day, it is non-binary alphabet community fucking privilege in the court system, dude. It's a right there on Front Street. That's exactly what we have right here. And I hope this story doesn't get any more sick than it already is, but given our subject material here, I don't think that we're going to have any other outcome besides that. I just hope everybody's alive at the end of it. With all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.